Very good. It is 1:30. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us at the Liquor Control meeting for this month. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our new chief. Thank you for your service and welcome to Fargo. And it's nice to have you here because now whenever something bad happens, we can go, well, the new chief will take care of that. So that's been, it's kind of a relief for Commissioner Gehrig and myself. But welcome, and if you want to say a couple words, that'd be great.
Thank you, sir. Great being here in Fargo. I'm certainly enjoying all my interactions with not only the public, but all the dedicated professionals at our police department, and looking forward to integrating into the community. So thank you very much.
Very good. Welcome. And you're going to enjoy the pace at which the Liquor Control Board works. And so here we go. We got 3 items on the agenda, and number 1 is approve the minutes of the September 16th, 2020 meeting. If there were any changes or corrections, otherwise we will accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 2A, application to transfer Class FA license from Bistros and More Incorporated, doing business as Old Chicago, to 701 OPS Incorporated, doing business as 701 Eateries, Prairie Kitchen and Camp Lone Tree, to be located at 701 University Drive North. Steve.
So when Old Chicago closed, they made an arrangement with a local realtor who found somebody that could use this license. And this is a pre-2014 license, so it is transferable. We've gone through the background check. There were no issues that came up that were relevant. The 701 University is the old Rosie's Laundry. So it's, I don't know if anybody's gone by there, but it looks great. It's, they've done a great job of rebuilding that and repurposing it. So, any questions?
If I could have you explain just for the chief about the transfer and why that's a difference that happened after 2014.
Sure. So in June of 2014, our city attorney drafted an ordinance change that made licenses non-transferable. So if a business goes out of business, then that license reverts back to the city. But prior, we kind of do a line in the sand. Any licenses issued prior to that June of 2014 remain transferable. So.
And if I could expound on that too.
Sure.
You know, the FA license is not one of those licenses that we restrict. So we don't want it to become a commodity, and that's kind of the reasoning behind it. So if you do go out of business, you know, they're selling this for, it could be less or more or however much than the city would charge you. So after this gets transferred, then is it transferable again because it's 2014, or
it should not be? No, now it's a new issue.
Now it reverts back to what it is now. So I just want a little bit of background because it does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions about it? Any concerns?
No issues.
Then we will accept a motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 3, request from Dan Herder to create a beer and wine on and off sale liquor license. See attached email. Dan, if you want to get up and introduce yourself and then kind of give us an introduction, we'd appreciate it.
Yes, my name is Dan Herder. I'm the owner of Twist and Boiler Room downtown right now. And I wasn't necessarily looking to be on the agenda today. I just kind of wanted to start a conversation, but here I am, so we'll talk about it. You know, we're 6 months into the pandemic and no signs of things improving for us, and so we're of course sitting here scratching our heads saying, you know, what is our long-term business outlook, and where do we start to pivot and cut some fat to make the company viable. And you know, I'm not even sure that this is indeed part of the plan right now, but you know, I think downtown is ready for a really cool boutique wine and beer shop. I mean, I'm not looking to open a 10,000 square foot Happy Harry's in the heart of downtown, but you know, right now there is no license that, I don't think there's even a full off-sale license available if I wanted one. But you know, even more so is this type of business that I have in my mind simply could not support the overhead of that. And so, you know, I know other business models have been pitched in the past and licenses have been created to accommodate that. And really just wanted to start a dialogue to see if we could, you know, is it even something that could happen? Is there something we could land on that's palatable to other retailers and not stepping on the toes of others? I did type up some thoughts here on what I think could be viable restrictions to this type of license to make it different than a typical, you know, liquor store license. I did in my ask for an on-sale, off-sale. The on-sale piece of it isn't terribly critical, but the intention is to be able to do on-site events and wine tastings and pairing events and things like that. In my notes here, I typed that on-sale could be regulated at something like 25% of total sales. So the intent is not to create a wine bar that is also selling wine out the back, but more so a wine shop that you are allowed to enjoy a glass of wine on premise before you buy and take that with you. I think there could be square footage restrictions to still prevent other large box stores from coming in and opening, using this as a way to slide into the competitive set of the big box liquor stores. But that's really my intent today, is to just simply say, can we start a conversation? Is this something that's viable? And if so, what's the next step? Who do I talk to? How do we work through some of the details and get it to the point where you're ready to decide on it?
So I would appreciate your bringing this to us, and I think the next step we could have some informal discussions. I think we could maybe set up some meetings, or we could talk as a group informally to start out with, if that's okay with you. And if there's any other comments, go ahead.
We created a winery license not too long ago, right? Or was that already around?
The winery license is like a manufacturing license. Yeah.
But can they consume on site?
Yes, with the winery license.
And they can sell?
Yep, it's same as like the brewery license.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but I've given some thought to it, to Dan's request. Had some comments from some people that weren't able to attend tonight, and I guess just a couple of thoughts. I do think that we're in a position where we may be looking at some changes down the road here, or not too long. We have had this request a number of times for an off sale on Broadway, and I think that there are some things that may come up down the road here that might surprise people a little bit. But that said, I also had a conversation with somebody yesterday that indicated some minor changes to the ordinance that maybe could work to do something similar to what you're talking about. So I wouldn't say that the door is closed on this. I think that there are opportunities out there, in how we structure some of our licenses and how we just do the overall license classifications. So,
sure. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys want these? Should I pass these out?
Absolutely. And then what we'll do is we'll just continue this to future meetings, if that's okay with you. I think that'll be our if we, as far as making a motion. Chief, if you want to comment, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I think there's a lot of ongoing discussions going on, and obviously we're in a challenging time, especially for a lot of the bars and restaurants, and we're trying to, maybe Steve can talk about what we took action about on Monday, but we're trying to do everything we can to help you survive, because I think with the governor saying you could be at 25%, that's disastrous, and I don't know how. We have a lot of sympathy. I believe the entire city commission, we're trying to do what we can to help you, because I think if we don't do something, there's lots that won't survive, and that hurts our whole town. So that's just my comments. If you don't mind, so if it's okay, we'll close this issue first. We'll continue this. So can we have a motion for that, to continue this issue, or do we not need to do that?
I don't think we need a motion.
Well, there you go. Then we don't need a motion, so we'll just move on. But if you don't mind, Steve, just kind of summarize what we did on Monday night.
It was actually Dan's request to extend the moratorium. And on Monday night, I did send out an email to all of my people in my license, in my email group. But Commissioner Gehrig said, well, let's extend this, on an indefinite basis. So we don't have in 2 months or 3 months, we have a drop dead date again, and then we're here back extending. And so through some negotiation, some conversation, the city commission moved to make this moratorium coincide with the end of the emergency declaration. So nobody knows when that's going to be. So, down the road, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Hopefully we're through this and we're moving on, but maybe Commissioner would like to make some comments.
And ultimately, it was going to end with the end of the declaration anyway. The only reason we're able to do this now is because of the emergency declaration. So this is the way to extend it the furthest out as we could, so that we couldn't go beyond that without changing our laws, which I'm for changing our laws. But That's another discussion.
That's another discussion, yeah.
The other thing I want to point, or I'll let this one close, and I'll talk about something else at the other portion.
That was all I had, yeah.
Very good. And unless the public, anybody wants to make a further comment, once again, I want to reiterate, we are feeling your pain, and I wish we could do more. 25% capacity is got to be devastating to bars and restaurants, and so you have our. If you have further suggestions that we can do to help you, we would love to hear it. And if right now, if you go ahead, and I want to apologize. Obviously, I know it was challenging for you to put that on top of the other things, but if you have other suggestions, that we're willing to listen.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say, Friday, Sarah Adi Coleman from North Dakota Tourism is going in front of the Emergency Commission to ask for industry-specific relief for restaurants, caterers, event venues, things like that. We have been talking to her kind of as an industry and really encouraging them to up the ask. We felt like what they were asking for was a Band-Aid on a pretty nasty wound, so the state is starting to have some conversation about relief for our industry. If you know anybody that can help push that through, make some calls for us. If you have any ideas on how we can get that done faster, sooner, they're talking about modeling after the ERG grant program, which I think most of us know was not the smoothest execution of a grant program. So, I don't know if there's a way to funnel the money through cities or counties or something, but if you have any pull there, we would certainly appreciate it.
Well, if there's a way, if you want a letter from the city saying we support this or something like that, I think we'd be willing to do that. So
okay. I'll follow up with an email and see if we can figure something out.
That'd be great. Very good. Thank you everybody for coming. It's 1:41. Welcome, and the meeting is over. We're adjourned.